What do you get when a runaway singer falls 40 feet from a Holiday Inn window, wakes up in a coma in Frank Zappa's living room, and becomes the neon high priestess of synthpop? This is the wild story behind Missing Persons, a band from Zappa's chaos that transformed MTV's aesthetic. I'm going to recreate the song Surrender Your Heart from their second album Rhyme and Reason, a track that shows off the band's more emotional, complex side, and a personal favorite. Dale Bozzio wasn't your average front woman. Born Dale Consalvi in Massachusetts, she grew up on Curtis Mayfield and the Dramatics. Her love of poetry came from her mom, the same mom who cheated on her dad, triggering some truly dark turns in Dale's young life. After studying acting at Emerson at just 16, Dale modeled, became a Playboy bunny, and lived fast. But at 21, something darker happened. She says three strange men, one dressed like a hotel guard, broke into her room at a Holiday Inn in downtown LA. In a moment of desperation, Dale tried to leap toward the Holiday Inn sign outside her window and fell over 40 feet, landing in a pool of blood. In her own words, "I woke up in Frank Zappa's living room. I had just fallen 40 feet. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Frank was in Japan, and Gail and Moon took care of me. I was only awake a short time. Then I was sent to my mother's on life support. It was a near-death experience that would shape her voice, her style, and her songwriting forever. Crazy? Maybe. But that's Dale, and whether it's all true or not, one thing is clear. Zappa believed in her. He cast her as Mary in Joe's Garage, and that's where she met drummer Terry Bozzio, her future husband, bandmate, and the rhythmic engine behind Missing Persons. By 1980, Dale, Terry, and guitarist Warren Cucurulo, another Zappa alum, formed Missing Persons, a futurist band full of synths, fashion, and attitude. They were punk at heart, but dressed in PVC, plexiglass, and eyeliner, way before the Lady Gaga or Madonna era. Dale once said, "We weren't taking no for an answer. I walked into hardware stores just to build my next outfit. They caught fire fast, first with the DIY EP, then with Spring Sessions M, which went gold thanks to relentless MTV rotation and Dale's unforgettable stage presence, wearing a live goldfish in her bra." By the time they dropped their second album, Rhyme and Reason, in 1984, the industry had caught up. MTV was no longer a secret weapon, and the band's momentum started to fade. But that's where this track, Surrender Your Heart, comes in. It's not a hit, it's something better, a synthpop cry for connection, layered with atmospheric pads and that unmistakable early digital edge. By 1986, the band was falling apart. Chuck White left, tensions boiled, Dale and Warren got involved. Terry said it felt like a penny movie that couldn't last. Surrender Your Heart might be buried under label pressure and commercial expectations, but it's a reminder of what they were capable of when they weren't chasing hits. Today you can see multiple interviews with Bozzio, who recently wrote a book. I will leave the links in the description of this video. Today's exploration is Missing Persons, one of my favorite tracks, I have to say. I remember listening to this track on a tape that one of my cousins recorded, and something curious about this is that he recorded only the side 1 of the album into the tape, and on the side 2 he recorded Cocktail Twins, which it was an amazing mixtape, let's call it. But over the years I was just listening to side 1, which I absolutely listen over and over. But one of the songs that I liked the most was Surrender Your Heart. Then years after, I was able to find the record, and that made me very happy because I basically rediscovered the side 2, which I never listened. So it was a great experience to have a little more of this album after some years. But even listening to side 2, and there's amazing songs in this album. For me, the complete album is amazing. It's a great production. You're gonna hear amazing guitar riffs, amazing drums. It's full of energy, and also it's an album that it not only sound futuristic for the time, we're talking the beginning of the 80s, but also if you can see the fashion of these and the style, I think she contributed a lot in the fashion of what we're seeing today. But not only the fashion, also the music. The music is very futuristic, but also if you see this, it totally takes you back to the 80s. It's like a 80s futuristic version, which I love, like the colors, the pinks, the greens, is really cool. I mean, I think if you listen to Missing Persons before, it totally takes you back to the past. So I love both of these albums, the Spring Sessions and Rhyme and Reason. And today we're going to be exploring Surrender Your Heart, that as I mentioned, is one of my personal favorite songs. And it is a simple song, but it is very effective. And that's what I like about this type of songs, because there's not a lot of elements, but they don't need more. And also with the vocals, that are amazing vocals, you have a great track, you have a great musical base to start, but also an amazing vocal, and obviously a great production. So why don't we just start with our recreation and see how it goes. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is record our drums, and I'm using the Kawai R50 for this. I think the sound is very close to what the Missing Persons track album is. I know that Missing Persons use a real electric drum, so I don't have that, but I think this has a lot of the toms. They use a lot of toms. They love that. And then we have this. And then we have this part. Now we are going to record the main lead. And actually, this is a sound for me that sounds extremely 80s, extremely nostalgic as well. And that's part of the reasons why I love this track, actually. So we can record something. For me, this is pure 80s nostalgia. Okay, and now we're gonna record this other part that is actually made by the guitar. But I'm not doing it in the guitar. I'm doing it actually in the Juno 60 using the sound number 25. So we can record it. And I like it because the Juno 60 is the ultimate 80s synth. And I think we get a very nice sound. And again, this is not an exact recreation. I'm not doing that. I'm just adding some of the sounds that I consider I like for this recreation. But let's give it a try. So this is what I... Okay, so then we have the bass, which is a bass that actually I like a lot. And I think this is a real bass, but again, I'm gonna be using, or maybe a Moog, I'm not sure. But again, the Roland for this kind of songs works always amazingly. So I'm gonna start recording, and let me show you a little bit of the bass. I love the bass of this song. It's very simple, but it's very effective. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, thank you so much for supporting my channel. It's almost reaching 10,000 subscribers, which for me is unbelievable. So I really appreciate the support in subscribing, in liking and commenting. I love to read your comments all the time. I always mention that, but that is absolutely true. I always like to interact with you. So thank you so much for that. And if you have any suggestion for a recreation, please let me know. Actually, this was one of the suggestions that I received in the comments. So I have a big list of music and amazing recommendations that you're giving me. So please do it. Send it your way in the comments of this video. And also don't forget that I have a Patreon where you can download stems of the recreations, and also I'm giving away free stems of my past video. You can check out that video. If you like it, you can download the stems. Even if you don't like it, you can download it for free and you can create your own tracks. And if you create your own track, please share it with me. I would like to give it a listen and see what you're doing with that. So thank you so much, and see you in another nostalgic exploration.